Hello, welcome to Lace with Literature,
Your new favorite bookish podcast. I'm Emma,
and I'm Lexi.
and we have no idea what we're doing, but we just want to yap about books. So this is our new podcast. We hope you enjoy. So let's just dive right in, and we'll talk about 5 books that describe our book taste. Do you want to start, Lexi?
Yes, so, what should I start with? Okay, my favorite book of all time is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. Is it Maas? Moss?
I don't know.
SJM, that's what I call her. So that's my favorite series ever, but Court of Mist and Fury is my favorite book. So that's number 1. Number 2 is Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. That was like my segue into dark romance, and so good, so good. And then
I got her into that book.
She did, yes. Okay, the Mindfuck series by St. Abbey, or my girl Stabby. Love that series. We read that for our book club, and I think it was a general consensus that we all loved it.
I don't know what took me so long to pick up that book.
Yeah, it was so good. Next is Fourth Wing. Obviously, I'm so excited for Onyx Storm to come out. That's by Rebecca Yarros. And then Happy Place by Emily Henry is literally my happy place. Those are my top 5 books to describe my book taste.
So a lot of mine are the same as yours. So I'll just say the ones that are different, I guess. So The Veiled Kingdom by Holly Renee. That was my first romantasy. I gotta say the second book was a little disappointing to me, but the first book, oh, it was so good. And it got me into romantasy this year.
I'm more brutal. I literally hated the second book. Huge letdown.
Yeah. Well, A Court of Silver Flames by SJM is my favorite from ACOTAR series. And then Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton. I love that book. I don't know if it was just like a mood read for me though. Like I honestly can't tell because the more I like look back at it, I'm like, I don't know.
I tried to read that because you loved it so much, and I literally only got like 25 pages in, and I got the ick. I don't know what it was.
I love dark romance, but I don't know.
Nothing even happened. I just had a bad feeling, so I never finished it.
Well, I liked the plot in that. Like at the end, it kind of gets a little thriller-y. As you get to know me, you'll know I really like the scary stuff in the books too. And yeah, so those are the only ones that were different than yours.
Basically, we like the same books, and that's why we started the podcast.
We were going to talk about over and underrated books.
Insert that. Oh, I love this question. Okay. My favorite underrated book, this book is not talked about enough, is Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. This is not a spoiler, but it's like the pregnancy trope, and usually that's not my favorite thing. So freaking good. Highly recommend it to everybody.
I should read it.
It's like like a cute, fluffy romance. Basically, the book starts out with a one-night stand, and she gets pregnant, and then the whole book is about them navigating that, and it's so sweet. It's so sweet. Oh, it's perfect.
I actually haven't even heard you talk about that, so now I'm like, should I read it?
I never talk about it for some reason, and like I literally have thought about it every day since I read it like a year and a half ago. I swear, I love it.
Well, my favorite underrated book is Hawk by Jessie Hall, and it honestly, you'll get to know too about me, is like it might just be a mood read. Like I don't know if it was when I read it, because funnily enough, my overrated book is That Sick Love by Jessie Hall. I could have rated that like negative stars if I could. Like I hated that book. It was so bad to me, but her Hawk book I loved. And I also, when we were doing this, I didn't know that it was the same author.
We were both laughing about that.
And we were dying laughing, so.
I've actually never heard of either of those books or that author, so.
Well, that
like out of the loop.
Was terrible, so. But I liked Hawk, so. And it surprised me. Like, I did not expect to like it either. So what was your overrated book?
Some people are going to hate me over this. Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. Y'all, I literally hated that book. I rated it 2 stars, but like looking back on it, it's probably like a 1 star. Actually, I'm going to keep my 2 star because I do occasionally think about it because it was just so awful. But like,
it was so awful that she just.
It was so awful that I can't stop thinking about it. So I guess I will keep my 2 star rating. I did not like a single character in that book. I mean, I know it's supposed to be like a toxic romance, which is why I read it. I thought I was going to love that. Like, I've been watching Tell Me Lies, and I love that. So I was like, I need a toxic book to read. No. Hated them. Hated both of the main characters. And everyone says that series is so good, and I don't think you could pay me to finish it.
See, I cannot like DNF a book. I don't think there's very few books I've DNF'd. And like another book that I would say is very overrated to me is Little Stranger. I think that was like one of the worst books I've ever freaking read. Like I hated everything in it. And I read the whole thing and I hated it. Like I hated it. You can read some of my book reviews on Fable and I'm like, I was crawling through this book because it was so bad, but I'll finish it.
I keep thinking about reading it just because it keeps popping up
no,
on my For You page.
No, like it's so bad.
Everyone says it's so bad.
It's so bad. No, everyone thinks it's good. And I'm like, no.
See, I'm on the side of TikTok that hates it.
Okay, good. Because it's
but it's
heinous.
making me want to read it. Like, what's the psychology on that? I don't know.
I'm like, if you've read it, if you know the whole scene with her dad, I'm like, he was a good dad to her. Like, I don't understand.
That's the part that keeps showing up on my fight.
So bad. So bad. I don't know why no one was talking about it on mine. Like, I didn't see anything about that, and I read it because I was like, oh, everyone loves it. And I read it, and I was like, sick. Terrible. I hate it.
I think my dark romance era might read Little Stranger.
Stop. I have so many dark romance recs. I am getting out of my dark romance era. I was dark romance this entire year, and then I'm just now getting into my romantasy thanks to the Veiled Kingdom and ACOTAR.
I might have recommended that because our book club read Powerless in June this year, and I was like, I had read the Veiled Kingdom first, and I was like, this book is like the same except the Veiled Kingdom has spice. And
I would have loved Powerless if I knew it was YA going into it.
Yeah.
I did it and I was so disappointed, and like if I knew it was YA going into it, I would have loved it because I actually think I enjoyed the second book better than most people did because I knew it was YA and I like had expectations.
See, I DNF'd that book. I did not get through Reckless.
I had expectations for it, so like I read the whole thing pretty quickly, but I don't know. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, we can talk about our reading wrap, talking about books we've read.
Okay.
We can go into our Fable reading wraps. By the way, if you guys don't use Fable,
dude, Fable is so much better than Goodreads.
It's life-changing.
You know what I think I'm going to do in the new year? I think I'm going to delete Goodreads. Because I don't use it anymore.
I've deleted Goodreads. I haven't deactivated my account, but I deleted it. So, yeah. Okay.
Goodreads is out. Fable is in. Download it.
Fable is so fun, and it's so cute, and the reading wrap is adorable.
The reader summary makes me giggle.
Yeah, so on Fable, you get a reader summary, so it's like a little blurb of like how they would describe you as a reader, and it changes pretty frequently, honestly. Like, I feel like, I don't know how often, but like, I feel like every 2 weeks or so I have a different one, or it might just change depending on like when you're adding books.
I think it does.
So
yours probably changes a lot because you read so many books. Emma reads way more than me because she's a big audiobook girl and gets through everything really quickly.
I love the audiobooks because I'm super busy, and then I read them on like almost 2x speed. Like I read them really fast. But it's funny because with ACOTAR, like I loved the series so much that I forced myself to read it at like a 1.2 speed, so it was slower, so it would last longer.
Whenever you told me you listened at 2.0 speed, I bumped up to 1.2 because I literally was listening on 1.
I can't listen on 1. I think they sound really boring.
It is really slow.
So 1.2 is like minimum for me, and then like it's not usually 2. It's like usually like 1.65, which is close, but. Yeah. My reading wrapped on Fable. So my goal this year was to read 100 books. I read 105 books this year.
Queen.
Because I read really fast, and I will not be setting that high of a goal next year because it was honestly pretty stressful to like reach that. Which is another reason why I was like, I can't DNF anything. I have to reach this goal.
I'm a chronic DNFer. If I don't like the book, I'm not finishing it.
I need to get more into that in my protecting my peace era.
Yes. Our New Year's resolution is to protect our peace.
Yes, absolutely. My best reading streak, it says 17 days because I always forget to like say that I'm reading. So I've definitely read longer.
I think mine is 27, but I've
100% read almost every single day this year. So that's wrong.
Yeah.
And then my average rating is 3.8 stars. I feel like I'm more of a critical rater. Would you say? Like, I feel like you don't rate as, I don't know. I think
mine was 3.7 was my average.
I'm pretty critical, but then I've also read a lot more, so I don't know.
I'm only critical of 5-star reads. Like I have to have that 5-star feeling in order to rate it 5 stars.
I know.
So majority of the books
I want to go back and change my ratings. Like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the time when I 5-star something, after I sit on it and I'm like, was that a 5-star? I don't know. Or like I'll like months later I'll be like, like was that a 5-star? But then I'm also like I chronically forget every detail of every book I've read.
Too.
So I don't know.
Like, I just read that book last week.
Don't
but
ask
I don't
me
know
about
what
it.
was about. I think everybody who reads does the same exact thing. It's
well,
like, we
I
read
hope, because
so
I feel
much.
like I'm like have memory loss or something. I'm like, why do I forget all of these books? I've read 105 books. What's your favorite? This one, but I couldn't tell you what it's about now. I forgot.
Yep.
Anyway, so I think that's all for mine.
Okay. So my reading goal was only 24 books, and I read 43, so
Yay.
I definitely surpassed that. In the new year, I'm bumping it up to 50 books. I think I could easily read 50 this year.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do either 45 or 50 for my new goal.
You should do 50. You're going to way surpass
I would
45.
rather surpass it than have the stress of not, but I guess, yeah. My TBR is already like so long.
Did you read your reader summary?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So my reader summary, I am a steamy fantasy fiend. My bookshelf screams, I thrive on forbidden loves and dark realms. I'm wary of recommending anything without a hint of spice or magic, lest you judge me for my bland taste.
So they're kind of silly sometimes.
They always make me laugh.
But they're so good.
Okay, my best streak, it says 27 days. I definitely think it's longer because I hate that you can't go back. That's the only thing about Fable is you can't go back and say that you read one day if you forget to get on there and log it. And then my average rating was actually 3.9 stars. I think that the only reason it's so high, though, is because majority of the year I was using Goodreads, and they don't have half-star ratings. So at the end of the year, when I started using Fable and logging half-star ratings, I think that's why it's 3.9. I think it'd probably be lower if I had used Fable longer. But yeah, that's my 2024 reading wrap.
Yeah, my reader summary. It's just because I just finished like ACOTAR, so it's Feyre's Flame. You're so into fiery fantasies and complex romances. I'm worried you'll set the real world on fire out of boredom. So that's mine.
Okay, Feyre. Yes, queen.
I mean, Nesta might be the one burning it down.
Okay, Nesta. Okay, so my top book of the year, hands down, Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. The concept of that book is honestly so cringy. Like, I did not think I was going to like it as much as
Banter
I did.
is so good. There is no other book that I've read that has banter that good. Like, that alone will make me, like,
Also,
eat
the
it up.
audiobook. Oh my gosh.
The audio was so good.
Listen to the audiobook. If you're going to read Lights Out, do the audiobook. I'm telling you, the guy that they casted as Josh, he did such a phenomenal job. And, like, the inner monologue that he had in the book, he just nailed it. I'm telling you, it was the best audiobook I've ever listened to. Favorite book of the year. It was perfect to read in the fall because it's, like, a stalker romance.
Yep.
It was just perfect. It was so good. And then my favorite series was absolutely the Mindfuck series. We read that for our book club. Super good. I love Vigilante Revenge Seeking Girl.
Yeah, that was
fire.
really good. My favorite series would have been that, but it is ACOTAR. And because I just read ACOTAR for the first time. I can't find Lights Out on here. I was trying to see. Oh, here it is. I was trying to see who the guy was. Jacob Morgan. Yes. Okay, I've actually gone back to Jacob Morgan's profile on Audible and like read a lot of his books that he's narrated.
Also, he goes by multiple pen names. Did you know that?
So I think you mentioned that. But
he narrates
I don't know.
even more books, but under a different name. I'd have to get on TikTok and look because actually I found him on TikTok and I followed him.
He's good, and isn't I think Aiden Snow everyone likes? He's good.
I don't know. He's the only one I ever think about. I love me some Jacob Morgan.
And then my favorite book of the year is probably The Veiled Kingdom. Like, it was so good.
When
and
you recommend a book to a friend and it becomes their favorite book of the year,
we both recommended each other's.
You're so... Oh my gosh.
I think The Veiled Kingdom like altered my brain chemistry a little bit because I've never read romantasy before. I mean, like, Powerless, but not really. Like, I don't know. I think The Veiled Kingdom was like real romantasy. So like that was the first romantasy I've read, and it really like got me into my romantasy era, and it was so good.
Also, Holly Renee is like a indie author, and nobody ever really talks about her or her books.
So good. I'm like in all her Facebook groups and everything, and she's so sweet too.
Yeah,
like,
we're part of her content team. It's a flex. Just kidding. I love her.
Love Holly Renee. And I'm really excited for the third book. I really hope it like redeems the second like book because that was really disappointing.
You, Holly, but book 2. Give me some more in book 3.
Anyway.
The Rebel Crown. We are counting on you. We are counting on you.
Yes. So on that note, do you want to talk about our TBR for 2025 and our anticipated releases?
Yes. Okay, we have to talk about the fact that we are both going to read Throne of Glass together.
Yes.
I don't know how I've gone this long without reading Throne of Glass because I'm an ACOTAR girly through and through, and I just keep telling myself that there's no way I can love another series more than I love ACOTAR, but everyone says Throne of Glass is better. So we're going to be reading that. I've already started it, so I'm on book 1, but I'm only like 50 pages in.
Do you want to tell them about your ACOTAR thing you're doing?
Maybe. Okay, so I'm actually getting an ACOTAR tattoo this week. I'm
Yay!
so excited.
It's so pretty.
Yeah, I'm super excited. So obviously, you guys can tell how much I love ACOTAR. I'm literally getting it on my body forever. So if Throne of Glass happens to become a new favorite, then I'll just add.
She might have to add on to it.
I'll just get like a book sleeve.
A Sarah J. Maas sleeve.
I'll get a Throne of Glass tattoo right next to the ACOTAR one. So that's definitely my most. That's like the top of my TBR. I want to do.
And we're both starting the new year with Throne of Glass.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm anticipating to take some breaks in between there. So
same. I never read a series straight through.
We're also part of a book club, and our book club is reading Hexed. Who's the author? I forget.
Emily McIntyre.
Yeah. But I will pause and read that in between there. And then also, I haven't read Iron Flame or Fourth Wing yet. So I'm going to read those before Onyx Storm comes out. So I have to kind of fit all this into January. So my January's booked, literally.
I love that. January's booked. I contemplated doing a reread of Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, but I actually remember everything from those books. Like, those are series that, like, I won't forget. So I don't really think I have to do a reread. I'm so excited for Onyx Storm. I didn't like Iron Flame, though, and I don't think anybody really. It was a huge book. And it kind of just, like, nothing happened in it.
It's second, right?
Yes, that's second. Okay. The first one is so good.
So hopefully if I read it in time for Onyx Storm, I'll have a little, what is that called? Mm-hmm. I'll have a little pickup from that. So hopefully that's good. And then also a new release we're excited about is, speaking of Lights Out, it's the second book, Caught Up.
I'm so excited.
And it looks like a little bit of like a motorcycle thing.
Yeah, so I think it's about one of the mafia family members, like her cousin.
Oh, okay.
Or is that who he was? See, I think it's the cousin. He gets a book. So it's like a mafia motorcycle romance. I'm eating it up.
If I see something, like if it comes across my TikTok For You page, like I'll watch it and stuff. But other than that, I try not to like look up spoilers, or not spoilers, but I try not to look up things about books. Which is like, I don't read the back of a book before I read it. Like if
that's
criminal. If someone recommends a book to me, I'm just gonna read it. Like I don't want to know anything about it. I don't know. So there's a lot of like these new releases that I also have know nothing about. Like I don't really know much about Iron Flame. Like I know the main character is like Violet and the guy's Zayden or something, and like there's dragons and they talk. That's all I know.
I feel like you know this is because me and Emma both subscribe.
Yes. Artworks by Roki, her Patreon.
Girl,
$7 a month is nothing for that.
It's the best $7 you'll ever spend.
Ever.
If you know. Oh my god. I literally have never subscribed to anybody on Patreon until I came across her. Best $7.
I subscribed to it and was telling her all about it, and I was like, you have to. So
yeah, she sent me a few of the pictures on there of like the book characters from our favorite books, and I was like, oh yes, I'm.
And the fact that that's like, is she AI does like generates those is crazy. Like they're so cool. Like just like every single one of her artworks is amazing. You can even go on her Instagram for free and look at those. But
I didn't realize how much like talent, skill, and time it took, because I literally thought that this is so dumb. I literally thought that you would just insert the text from the book and it would like generate the image, but that's like not at all.
If you go on her Instagram too, on her highlights, there's like her process on doing it.
I've watched them.
So like intricate. Like it takes hours and days. Like she said, it takes like days, sometimes and weeks.
So now like giving her $7 a month, I'm like, this is so worth
girl,
it.
take it. Take my money. Please give me more. So do you want to talk about your 2025 TBR?
Yes. Okay. So aside from what we've already talked about, Emily Henry's coming out with a new book. What's it called? Me not knowing what it's called.
Great Big Beautiful Life.
Great Big Beautiful Life. That's such a long title for her. Her books are like 2 words usually.
Happy place, beach read, book lovers.
Exactly. Like, this is
2
a
words.
long title for her. So, Great Big Beautiful Life. I know nothing about this. I just know that it's Emily Henry and I'm gonna love it. And then this whole series is already out, but I'm in the middle of the Salacious Players Club series, which Emma also got me hooked on. I'm obsessed. I've read the first 3 books, and I'm determined to finish the rest this year. I know I will, because I read them all in a day or 2 apiece. Like, flew through them.
They're, even if you're not into the book or like the trope or whatever, the writing is so good. Like, you can get through it so fast. I won't DNF a book, but I have DNF'd that series. Just like, I don't know, it just like wasn't, like, some of the tropes weren't for me towards the end. But I did read, I think, the first 4 books, and then I am planning on reading her new book.
Yes, I have.
I bought
it's
it.
Called Keep Me.
Keep Me. Yeah, I bought it. It's on my shelf, but I haven't read it yet. And apparently, it's like a Scottish romance. Did you see that?
I heard the audiobook is like really cringy, so I won't be listening to it.
I'll probably read it. If you guys have read Den of Vipers, so let me make sure that this is right.
Emma went on like a full-blown 30-minute rant about this audiobook.
Okay. So if you have looked at the Den of Vipers audiobook, it's terrible. The book was really good, honestly. Like, even though like it's not some, like, I don't know, it's very dark romance. It is very hardcore dark romance. Like, I would not read it if you're not into dark romance. But the audio was so bad. Like, nothing against people with accents, but it was so bad. Like, I could not take anybody seriously. I think that they were like Scottish or something, but oh my gosh, like, I literally couldn't. And especially listening to it in like faster speed, I was like, they sound like chipmunks, and it was so bad. Like, it was terrible.
Before I buy an audiobook, I always listen to the sample, because
I usually
if I don't
do,
like their
but
voices,
I learned my lesson.
It's not happening.
So yeah, but I am excited to read Keep Me by I don't even know who that's by. Sarah Kate, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Yeah, and then I have a bunch of series on my TBR. Like, we had to pick some. I have so many like plans for this year because I just got into my romantasy. So, Zodiac Academy series, the Empyrean series, Boys of Tommen. I don't know. That's how you say it. And then City of God and Monsters, Gods and Monsters. I want to read all of those, and I have a lot more too. So there will be a lot of romantasy and just different things.
You know what's funny? The Boys of Tommen is one of those series that I will for a fact never read.
Really?
Yeah, I don't
know much about it. I just know that it was recommended.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about it, and it just doesn't sound like my cup of tea.
Maybe we need to speak on this. I need to figure out a little bit more about it. But again, I don't like to know too much.
Yeah, you just need to go into it blind.
I'll just go into them, and make my own opinions. So yeah, I think that's kind of where we're at. We have a lot of plans for this podcast, so hopefully anyone who's listening, thank you for being here, and thank you for getting this far, and hope you enjoyed.
It's probably just our moms and our book club friends, so if you're watching, hi guys.
Hi. But yeah, so this is Laced with Literature.
Bye.
Bye.